All right, so you're gearing up for a rental service rep interview.
Ooh, exciting.
Right. Maybe at like a cool independent video store.
I love those.
Yeah, or maybe you're looking at like a bigger company, something that rents out heavy equipment.
Oh, yeah, totally different vibe.
Totally. And like trying to sort through all of the, generic interview advice online.
It's so overwhelming.
It can be such a time suck.
Yeah,
So we are bringing you a deep dive today that is laser focused.
I love it.
On this specific role, we've got RoleCatcher insights and tips to get you prepped.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know what's really interesting about interviewers for this role is they're not just looking at, doing this stuff about rentals. They're really looking for passion.
Okay.
It's how you connect with those customers. How do you handle those like really tricky situations?
hmm
And how do you stay organized are what will really make you stand out as a candidate.
Okay, so let's jump into some questions then. The first one that we got here from the RoleCatcher interview guide is, what inspired you to pursue a career in the rental service industry?
Okay.
It seems pretty basic, but I feel like there's more to it than just saying like, oh, I need a job.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
You really want to use this question as an opportunity to highlight what genuinely excites you about this field.
Okay.
So maybe you've had amazing experiences as a renter yourself. We've all had good and bad.
Yes.
Or maybe you just love the idea of connecting people with the perfect tool or, the perfect film for their weekend.
hmm
Think about what really resonates with you and speak to that.
That's a great point. And, you could even share a positive personal experience,
Yes.
and that could kind of lead to a follow-up conversation.
Exactly. Build that rapport.
Yeah, exactly. And show that you've actually thought beyond just submitting an application.
Yes.
Now, this next question is one that I think we all kind of dread a little bit. How do you handle difficult customers?
Oh.
We've all had that customer. So how do you stay professional and cool under pressure?
The STAR method is really your best friend here.
Okay.
Situation, task, action, result. Having a really clear anecdote ready to go, describing that challenging customer interaction, what steps you took to resolve it,
Okay.
and what was the positive outcome, because we all want to hear those happy endings.
Right. So it's not enough to just say, oh, I stay calm.
Right.
You have to prove it.
You have to prove it.
What else do you think could impress an interviewer here?
Mentioning de-escalation techniques can be really powerful.
Okay.
For example, mirroring the customer's language.
Interesting.
So if they are speaking really quickly and using strong words, you kind of match their pace and tone to build that rapport,
Oh.
and then you gradually shift to a calmer tone, which can lead them toward a resolution.
Well, that's actually a really interesting tip because I think that's something we all do naturally.
Yes.
But being conscious of it
Yes.
in a really tense situation,
Exactly.
that's brilliant.
That's a good one.
All right, so question number 3. How do you stay organized when processing multiple rentals at once?
Okay.
Because things can get really hectic.
They can, especially, depending on where you're working.
Totally.
If you're in a place that has, lots of equipment rentals going out at once, it can be a lot.
How do you keep it all straight?
Well, you want to make sure that you're demonstrating those organizational skills.
Okay.
So you can mention specific techniques that you've used in the past, maybe a color-coded system.
Oh, yeah?
Prioritizing tasks by urgency, or maybe you're using a digital tracking tool.
Okay.
Whatever it is, be specific and make sure that you're demonstrating how you can avoid mix-ups
Uh-huh.
and keep those customers happy even when you're juggling multiple things.
It's like those organizational skills that you use in your personal life could actually be super relevant to
Yeah,
this job.
Absolutely.
And, you could even mention that in the interview. Like, oh, this is how I keep my life straight, so I know I can apply it to this.
Yeah.
Okay, question 4 gets a little bit more serious. How do you handle confidential customer information?
Yes.
This isn't just about being careful, right? Data privacy is a huge deal.
It is a huge deal.
Is that what you say?
It's really about demonstrating that you understand both the legal and the ethical responsibilities that are involved in handling this kind of sensitive information.
Okay.
Mentioning relevant laws like GDPR shows that you're aware of the bigger picture.
Uh-huh.
But even more importantly, you want to highlight practical steps.
Okay.
Like using secure storage, password protection, and just making sure that you're limiting access to that sensitive data.
So it's like a combination of knowing the rules,
Yes.
but then also actually walking the walk.
Exactly.
And this is actually where RoleCatcher's AI can give you a little bit of an edge.
Yes, it's a fantastic tool for this.
Okay, tell me more.
So RoleCatcher can actually suggest specific data privacy regulations
Interesting.
based on the location of the job.
Okay.
So let's say you're applying for a position in California. RoleCatcher will remind you to mention CCPA, the California Consumer Privacy Act, in your answer.
Oh, wow.
So it just helps you tailor your response and shows that you're on top of things.
It's so specific.
It is.
That's incredible.
Okay.
Okay, so question 5 deals with, I think, a really common problem.
Yeah.
How do you handle rental returns that are damaged or late?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wants to be the bad guy.
No.
But you've got to uphold the company's policy.
You do.
So what's the best way to approach this question?
Well, you want to focus on finding that balance between enforcing those rules and making sure that you are still providing excellent customer service. It's helpful to have a story ready that shows how you have successfully navigated one of these tricky situations. So, for example, maybe you were able to calm down a really frustrated customer.
Yeah.
Maybe you had to clearly explain, late fees and even work out a payment plan.
Okay.
Whatever it is, having that real-life example is going to be much more convincing than just saying, oh, I'd follow company policy.
Totally. Okay, so question number 6. How do you upsell rental services to customers?
Okay.
I'll be honest, I used to cringe a little bit when I heard upselling.
Yes.
But you reframed it earlier.
Yes.
And it's really about providing value, not being pushy.
Exactly.
So how do you do that in this context?
Well, think about a time when you successfully recommended an upgrade or an additional service that genuinely benefited a customer.
Okay.
So, for example, maybe a customer was renting a projector for a weekend getaway, and they mentioned wanting to, capture some really stunning landscape shots.
Okay.
You could talk about how you suggested renting a wide-angle lens, explaining how it could really elevate their photography and create more memorable images.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That feels natural, not forced.
Exactly.
You're highlighting the value,
Yes.
not just like trying to make an extra buck.
Yes.
Okay, question number 7. How do you handle inventory management and ordering new titles?
Ooh.
This feels like a question where organization is like, yeah, if you're a naturally organized person,
Yes,
you can shine here.
definitely.
So what are your thoughts?
Even if you're not super organized, having a system is key.
Okay.
So you can share techniques that you've used in the past.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you created a spreadsheet to track rental dates and availability.
Okay.
Or maybe you had a color coding system to quickly identify overdue rentals.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
So whether it's, high tech or low tech, it's about having that system in place.
Having a system
Yes,
shows that you're on top of it.
exactly.
And, this is another place where you can even talk about something you do in your personal life.
Absolutely.
Like, do you have a massive movie collection?
Yes.
How do you keep it straight?
Right, or a tool collection for, your DIY projects.
Totally.
Those skills absolutely translate.
Okay, last but not least, question number 8. How do you handle customer complaints about rental fees?
I know.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, nobody likes fees.
So how do you navigate those conversations where somebody is just like, this isn't fair?
Well, it's all about showcasing your ability to de-escalate,
Okay.
to listen actively,
Uh-huh.
and to try to find solutions.
Easy peasy, right?
Easy peasy.
No, but seriously, how do you approach a situation where someone is really upset about a fee?
The first step is to just stay calm.
Okay.
Be empathetic, acknowledge that customer's frustration, and then listen.
Oh.
Listen to their concerns.
Uh-huh.
You really want to resist that urge to immediately defend the fee.
Oh, that's hard.
I know.
Especially if you know that it's legitimate.
It is hard, but you want to try to understand their perspective.
Okay.
And then once you've heard them out, you can calmly explain the rationale behind the fee using clear, concise language.
Okay.
No jargon.
So you're almost like a mediator.
Yes.
At that point, not a salesperson.
Exactly.
What if the customer's still just like, no, this is wrong?
Well, then this is where your problem-solving skills really come in.
Okay.
So if the fee is genuinely a mistake, acknowledge it and fix it.
Uh-huh.
If the fee is valid, but, maybe the customer is facing a financial hardship
Okay.
or has a really legitimate reason for disputing it, then you want to explore possible solutions within the company's guidelines.
So like maybe a discount,
Yes.
waiving the fee, or working out a payment plan.
A payment plan, exactly.
Okay, so being flexible, finding a solution,
Yes.
and I imagine documenting everything really carefully.
Yes, always document.
Okay, wow, we just went deep on 8 crucial interview questions.
We did.
That's got to be worth at least a few bonus points, right?
Hopefully.
But before we move on to the bigger picture of this career path, I want to touch on one more thing that RoleCatcher does that is kind of amazing.
Oh, yes.
Their AI can actually analyze job descriptions and give you personalized feedback on your practice answers.
It's incredible.
It's like having a secret weapon.
It is.
to help you really nail those interviews.
It is a secret weapon.
Tell me more.
Okay, so RoleCatcher's AI can help tailor your answers to match the company's values and expectations.
Okay.
It can also highlight areas where you could strengthen your responses to make them more impactful and memorable.
So it's like having a personal interview coach
Yes,
in your pocket.
exactly.
All right. So now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about what success actually looks like in this role,
Yes,
beyond just acing the interview.
absolutely.
So RoleCatcher breaks this career path down into entry-level junior and senior roles,
Right.
each with its own set of tasks and responsibilities. But what I think is really cool is they actually provide examples of what someone might say about their experience
Yes.
at each of those stages. So it's like a real-world glimpse of what you could expect.
Love that.
Yeah, so let's start with entry level.
Okay.
What are some things that someone at this stage might say about their experience?
Well, they're likely to highlight their experience in assisting customers processing rentals
Okay.
and documenting those transactions accurately.
They're also going to want to emphasize strong attention to detail and their ability to explain those different pricing options,
Okay.
to meet those individual customer needs.
So really showcasing those core competencies and showing that they have a good grasp of the basics.
Exactly.
What about someone at the junior level? How might their description of their experience be different?
So a junior rental service rep would likely showcase their ability to go beyond just processing those rentals.
Okay.
They might mention success in managing rental contracts and agreements, providing recommendations, and even upselling additional equipment or services based on those customer needs.
So they're taking on more responsibility and
Yeah.
really demonstrating a deeper understanding of that customer service element.
Yes.
What kind of experience would a senior rental service representative highlight?
So someone at that senior level is going to want to emphasize leadership skills and strategic thinking.
Okay.
They might talk about overseeing rental operations, making sure that customer satisfaction is really high.
And even developing strategies to drive rental revenue.
Wow.
They might also highlight their role in training and mentoring junior staff
Okay.
and conducting performance evaluations.
So they've really become like a leader, a mentor within the organization.
Yes,
That's fascinating to see how it evolves.
it is.
And I think having those concrete examples from RoleCatcher
Yes.
makes it so much easier to kind of picture yourself
Yes.
on that path.
Visualize it.
Yeah. All right, so now that we've got a sense of the bigger picture, I think we need to circle back to those 8 crucial interview questions from RoleCatcher
Yes.
and really dig into how to craft those winning responses.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. So we left off on those interview questions.
Yeah, we tackled the first 4.
We did.
Now let's get into the remaining 4 from RoleCatcher's guide.
Sounds good.
Okay, so this first one, number 5. How do you handle rental returns that are damaged or late?
Oh, boy.
It's a tough one.
It
It
is.
feels like a balancing act between, being firm,
Yeah.
upholding the rules,
Right.
but also in providing good customer service.
Of course.
So how do we approach this in an interview?
Well, you want to really demonstrate those problem-solving skills
Okay.
and that you can stay calm even when things get a little bit stressful, instead of just saying you'll follow company policy.
Right. Which is tempting.
It is tempting, but you want to share a specific example
Yeah.
that showcases your approach.
Like what?
Okay, so let's say a customer returns a power tool
Okay.
and there's a broken part.
Uh-oh.
You could say something like, I first assess the damage and calmly explain the company's policy regarding damaged returns.
Okay.
Then I worked with the customer to determine if that damage was pre-existing or if it occurred during their rental period.
Okay.
And based on that assessment, we either, worked out a repair solution or applied the appropriate damage fee, making sure that everything was really transparent and fair throughout the whole process.
Oh, that's so much better
Yes.
than just being like, well, here's the rule.
Here's the rule, and you broke it.
Yeah, exactly. And it shows that you can handle those delicate situations
Exactly.
with, professionalism,
Yes.
but also empathy for the customer.
Very important.
Okay, so question number 6. How do you upsell rental services to customers?
Okay.
And again, we talked about this earlier. Upselling doesn't have to be icky.
No, it doesn't.
It's really about providing value,
Exactly.
not just pushing a product.
Absolutely.
So how do you do that?
Well, think about a time when you recommended something, an upgrade or an additional service,
Yeah.
that actually benefited the customer.
Okay.
Did a customer renting a camera mention wanting to capture stunning landscape shots?
Oh, yeah.
You could suggest renting a wide-angle lens, explaining how it would elevate their photography,
Oh,
create those more memorable images.
yeah, and that feels very natural
It does.
because they're already expressing a need.
They are.
And you're just saying, hey, we have something that can help with that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, question number 7. How do you handle inventory management and ordering new titles?
All right.
I feel like this is where those of us who are super organized
Yes.
can really shine.
You can.
So give me some tips.
Well, even if you're not naturally super organized, having a system is key.
Okay.
Share those techniques that you've used in the past.
Hmm?
Did you create a spreadsheet to track those rental dates and availability?
Okay.
Maybe you implemented a color coding system
Oh, yeah.
to identify overdue rentals.
I love that.
It can be really helpful.
It can be really simple but effective.
It can.
So whether it's high tech or low tech, the point is that you have a system.
Exactly.
And you're proactive and organized.
Yes.
Now, I think this is another one of those questions where you can pull from your personal life a little bit.
Absolutely.
Even if you haven't managed inventory, like at a job.
Right.
How do you organize things in your house?
Exactly.
Like, do you have, tools for DIY projects?
Right. Do you have that craft room? That's a mess.
How do you keep it all straight?
How do you know what you had?
Yeah.
Those skills absolutely translate.
They do. Okay, last but not least of the 8 questions that RoleCatcher provides. How do you handle customer complaints about rental fees?
Ooh, that's a big one.
I know this is like the one we all dread a little bit.
Yes.
Because nobody likes fees.
No.
And having to be the bearer of bad news
Yes.
is never fun.
It's not.
So what do we do?
Well, this question is really all about showing that you can de-escalate the situation, that you can actively listen, and that you can find solutions.
That sounds easy.
Right.
Not always the case.
Not always.
When you're dealing with an angry customer
Yes.
who feels like they've been wronged.
Absolutely.
So what do you do when someone is like, this fee is BS?
First, you just stay calm.
Okay.
Be empathetic. Acknowledge their frustration.
Don't get defensive.
Don't get defensive. I know it's tempting.
Yeah.
You want to listen. Really listen to their concerns.
Try to see their side.
Yes, try to see their side.
Okay, and then...
Once you've heard them out, then you can calmly explain the rationale behind the fee.
Okay.
Using clear and concise language.
So no jargon.
No rental jargon.
Right, keep it simple.
So you're like a mediator at this point.
Yes, you are.
Okay, what if they're still not having it?
Okay, so that's where those problem-solving skills come in.
Okay.
If the fee is genuinely a mistake, you acknowledge it, you fix it.
Great.
But if the fee is valid, but, the customer is facing a hardship or has a really legitimate reason for disputing it,
okay,
then you can explore different solutions within the company's guidelines.
So maybe offer a discount or waive the fee just this once as a gesture of goodwill?
Yes.
Or work out a payment plan?
A payment plan?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Okay, so again, it's all about being flexible.
Yes.
Finding a solution.
Finding a solution.
And I imagine documenting everything really thoroughly.
Always document to avoid any future issues.
Exactly.
Okay, so we went deep on those 8 crucial interview questions.
We did.
That's got to be worth a few bonus points.
Hopefully.
But before we, say, congratulations, you got the job.
Right.
We need to remember that nailing the interview is just the first step.
Yeah, it is.
So let's talk about building a successful career.
Absolutely.
In this industry.
Yes.
Because it requires more than just, showing up and answering questions.
So much more.
So I think we need to circle back to those career stages that RoleCatcher outlines.
Yes.
Entry-level, junior, senior. We talked about the tasks and responsibilities.
Right.
But what are the skills and qualities that actually set people apart as they move through those stages?
Okay, great question. So at the entry level, it's all about mastering those fundamentals.
Okay.
Processing those rentals efficiently, accurately documenting everything,
okay,
and providing friendly and helpful customer service.
So you're showing that you can handle those day-to-day tasks.
Yes, you're dependable.
Yeah, you're reliable.
Reliable.
Okay, what about junior level?
Okay, so at the junior level, it's all about showing some initiative.
Okay.
Problem-solving skills. You're going beyond just following procedures.
Okay.
You're identifying and resolving customer issues proactively.
Being a team player.
Yes, being a team player.
All right, now what about that senior level? What takes you to the top?
Okay, so Individuals who thrive in those senior roles often have exceptional leadership skills
Okay.
and communication skills.
Uh-huh.
They can manage a team.
Okay.
They delegate tasks.
Uh-huh.
They motivate others.
Okay.
They're also strategic thinkers.
So they're not just managing the day-to-day.
No, they're thinking big picture.
They're thinking about the future of the company.
Exactly.
And how to make it even better.
Yes.
That's fascinating.
It is.
So we've gone from like, entry level, just learning the ropes to being this like visionary leader.
A visionary leader?
Is pretty cool.
It is.
And I think what I love about RoleCatcher is they don't just give you this like abstract information
Right.
about these stages. They actually use AI
I do.
to help you personalize your own career path.
Yes.
Based on your skills and what you want to do.
Your aspirations.
Yeah, so you can explore different roles within this industry.
Yes.
You can look at potential salary growth.
Yes.
And create a customized development plan.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like having a career advisor
Yes.
in your pocket.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From those tricky interview questions to the bigger picture
Yes.
of building a successful career.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap things up, I want to revisit one more thing that RoleCatcher does.
Okay.
That kind of blows my mind.
I love this.
It's their AI-powered feedback on practice answers.
Oh, it's so cool.
So imagine you've crafted this beautiful answer
Yes.
to tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult customer.
Right.
You can record yourself answering the question and upload it to RoleCatcher.
That's amazing.
And their AI will analyze your response.
That's incredible.
It will give you feedback on like your delivery, the
Yeah.
content, even your tone of voice.
It's so helpful.
So it's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
It's everything.
So what kind of feedback does it actually give?
It's really detailed.
Okay.
So it might point out areas where you could be a little more concise.
Okay.
Maybe suggest some alternative phrasing to strengthen your points.
Okay.
Or even recommend specific examples to make your answer more compelling.
Oh, wow.
It can even analyze your tone
Interesting.
and suggest adjustments to make sure that you're coming across as confident and empathetic and professional.
That is incredible. It's like having a speech coach
Yes.
and a career counselor all rolled into one.
No.
And I hear they're even working on a feature that analyzes your facial expressions during like video interviews.
Yes.
Which is a little bit
It's a
Big Brother-ish, but
helpful.
also helpful. I mean, if you're like frowning the whole time,
Right. Exactly.
that's probably not going to come across well.
You want to seem approachable.
You want to seem friendly and approachable.
And engaged.
Yes. Okay, so RoleCatcher's AI is officially blowing my mind.
It's pretty cool.
I feel like anyone who's prepping for a rental service rep interview would be crazy not to use this tool.
It's such a valuable resource.
All right, so we've covered so much.
I know it's a whole...
Those 8 essential questions
Yeah.
and the bigger picture of building a successful rental career.
Absolutely.
But before we send you off to just absolutely rock that interview,
Yes.
let's add a few more like bonus tips
Okay, love it.
to your arsenal.
Right.
I think one thing that sometimes gets overlooked is your online presence.
Oh, yes.
You know, in today's world, interviewers, they're checking you out online.
Absolutely.
So like, what does your LinkedIn profile say about you?
Yes.
Are there any like questionable photos floating around on social media that maybe don't align with that professional image you want to project?
Very important.
So how do we do a little bit of digital cleanup?
Well, first, I would start with your LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
Make sure it's up to date.
Uh-huh.
Highlight your relevant skills and experience.
Mhm.
And, use a professional headshot.
Okay.
And then take a look at your privacy settings on those other social media platforms.
Okay.
You might want to make some profiles private or just remove anything that you wouldn't want a potential employer to see.
Right, like those photos from college?
Maybe.
Maybe not the best look.
Maybe not.
Okay, so we've cleaned up our online presence.
Yes.
Now what about like what to wear
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
to a rental service rep interview?
Yes.
Is it like a suit and tie situation?
Oh, I think so.
Or is it more laid back?
I think it really depends on the company culture.
Okay.
A cool, independent video store might have a more relaxed vibe,
Right.
while a larger equipment rental place might be a little more formal.
So how do you figure that out?
Research is key. Check out the company's website, their social media.
Okay.
Look at photos of employees.
Okay.
See if they have a careers section that mentions dress code.
Okay.
When in doubt, I always say it's better to be slightly overdressed than
Yeah.
underdress.
Better to be safe than sorry?
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got our outfit picked out.
We do.
We've cleaned up our social media.
Yes.
Now let's talk about asking thoughtful questions.
Oh, yes.
Because I think this can really make you stand out in an interview.
It shows that you're engaged.
Yes.
That you're curious.
Yes.
You're not just there for a paycheck.
Exactly.
You're thinking about, is this the right fit for me?
Right, you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
Exactly.
So what are some good questions to ask? Because I feel like I always fall back on that generic, like, what are the benefits?
I know we've all been there, but here are a few ideas that might spark some inspiration.
Okay.
You could ask about the company's growth plans,
Okay.
their biggest challenges, or what they're most excited about for the future.
Okay.
You can also inquire about opportunities for professional development.
Okay.
Or maybe even what a typical day in the role would look like.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and if they mentioned a specific project or initiative during the interview, you could ask a follow-up question to show that you were listening.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It shows that you're really paying attention.
Yes.
And you're not just, going through the motions.
Exactly.
And this is another place where I think RoleCatcher could come in handy.
Oh, yes.
Because their AI could actually suggest some company-specific questions.
Yes.
Based on its analysis of like news articles and company data.
It absolutely could.
So it's like giving you that extra edge
Yes.
to really impress the interviewers.
That extra layer of personalization.
Okay, one last thing before we wrap up.
Okay.
We've talked about those different career stages.
Yes.
Entry level, junior, senior.
Uh-huh.
How can someone use that knowledge to actually chart their own career path?
Great question. So those career stage descriptions,
Yeah.
they're not just for inspiration, they're a roadmap.
Okay.
Use them to identify the skills, the experience you need to progress to that next level.
Uh-huh.
So maybe you're at entry level,
Yeah.
and you see that junior roles require experience in training new hires.
Okay.
Well, there's your cue to volunteer for those opportunities or seek out a mentorship program.
So it's about being proactive and thinking ahead.
Yes, being intentional.
And of course, RoleCatcher can help with that too.
Of course they can.
Their AI can suggest courses, certifications, networking opportunities
Yes.
to help you build those skills.
Based on your desired career trajectory.
It's like having a personalized GPS for your career,
I love that analogy.
guiding you towards your ultimate destination.
Yes.
Okay, I think we've officially covered it all.
I think we have.
We've given our listeners a masterclass
A masterclass.
in rental service representative interview prep.
We have.
So from decoding those tricky questions
Yeah.
to exploring the long-term career path.
Yes.
We even talked about AI
We did it all.
to personalize your prep.
Amazing.
So remember, RoleCatcher is out there.
Yes,
They are your secret weapon.
they are.
They can help you with your resume.
Yes.
Practice those interview answers
Uh-huh.
and even map out those long-term career goals.
Absolutely.
We are confident that with everything we've shared today,
Yes.
you are well on your way to landing that dream job.
You got this.
Go out there, ace that interview, and rock the rental world.
Rock on.
Keep on diving,